Welcome to the course. I wanted to talk a little bit about doc types because we didn't get into that in we didn't get into that enough in the class. So we're going to start with a blank document. Here's a notepad document. I'm on a PC platform right now. So here's a blank text document. I haven't converted it to an HTML or saved it as an HTML. You can notice that it says .txt as the extension. So when you're starting your pages, this is where you're going to begin. You can open up a blank text document, whether it be Notepad or Text Wrangler, depending on whether you're on a PC or a Mac. And the first thing we want to do is add the doc type. Now, what exactly does that do? The doc type tells the browser what to expect, what type of HTML document it is. Now, there are certain doc types for different versions of HTML. You may have heard that HTML5 is one of the newer standards that's coming out, and basically let's copy and paste this over. This is the basics of a document. This is specified for HTML5. Now notice the doc type is up top here. Relatively simple. It's a doc type space HTML. That's all it is, with the exclamation mark at the beginning. That's the doc type. That's all you really need. Now for a HTML, let's copy and paste this one right here. This is version 4. I'm going to paste that down here. This is version actually 4.1 XHTML, which is another type of doc type. This is a strict, and traditionally this is what our class used for a doc type. All of this, what this basically tells the browser is that it's XHTML, which is the newer version of HTML, and it's a strict version, meaning that every code and tag that you're going to use in this file is going to adhere to current web standards. What that means is you can't use any deprecated tags, meaning being phased out. And it's going to start off with the opening HTML tag right here, and that refers to the W3 org to go back and look up, make sure that your tags are proper. Now you could use a strict doc type, or you could use a transitional doc type, and I have an example of a transitional doc type here, and we'll put that down here. This is a transitional doc type. The difference between, and it's HTML version 1. The difference between this one and this one is a transitional doc type means that you can be a little bit more lax in the code set. It's a little bit more forgiving. The trade-off between using a transitional doc type and a strict doc type is that a transitional doc type may not display exactly the same in every browser. Using a strict doc type means that you're using exactly the commands that you're supposed to. They're all properly formatted, and as a result, the bonus is everything is going to look exactly the same in every browser. Now, as we move on, so here's an example of a transitional doc type. Now, the doc type itself is just this line right here. That's basically the doc type. This is your opening HTML tag, and here are the attributes associated with that. Traditionally, when you're using a doc type, you just copy and paste this from document to document. This meta tag right here tells the browser that you're using a character set of UTF-8, and I'm not going to get into that just yet, but just know that this character set is a specific font type, so the characters used within that adhere to that setting. So here's an example of one basic document including the transitional doc type, an example of another one using a strict doc type, and an example of the newer version, HTML5, with the simplified doc type. Now, when I asked you to type everything by hand in Notepad, obviously the preferred method is less typing involved, and that would be this one right here. This will work in every browser that we have currently on the market. It will not work if someone uses Internet Explorer 6 or prior to that. So you do have to be careful. It does depend on your audience. Now, most people do not have Internet Explorer 6. They at least have Internet Explorer 7 or 8, and 9 was just released. So this should be okay to use. In fact, even if you might want to try this on an older browser if you have one available, just to see what happens, see what the page looks like. Is it what you expect it to look like? So for this class, from this point forward, the highlighted text and tags and doctypes that I just highlighted here are acceptable in this class. The last session we were still using HTML5, and that's pretty much what I expected. But I will allow you to use just this little doctype, !doctype space HTML. This is not case sensitive as well, so you can have this in lowercase if you wanted to. That will be acceptable for this class moving forward. So that's a little bit about doctypes. So I'm going to post that and make that file available too, if you just wanted to copy and paste that. This is your basic file. You know, your doctype is up top here. You have an opening HTML tag, opening head tag. Here's the title of the document, and you're closing your head element, which is right there. And here's your body element, and the contents goes in the middle here, whatever that may be. And you're closing your document with a closing HTML tag. Speaking of which, notice that you do have an opening HTML tag and you have a closing HTML tag. You have an opening body, opening head, closing head. This does not need any closing tag. That's exactly what it should be, as simple as it is.